Hey, yo, guys, we have an absolute banger today, okay? Today we have Ben Shapiro explaining basic biology to a college student, to a woke college student, of course, right? Look, viewer discretion is advised. I know I say that a lot, but look, if you're sensitive, I'm just warning you, all right? Without further ado, let's ride!
Time. I've kind
So
of
have I
pondered.
for this moment.
Yeah, I've kind of pondered how to ask this, but how does your view of transgender issues work when scientific anti-realism as a concept exists?
You're gonna have to explain that one.
All right, so scientific anti-realism is the concept that when you see me, you see, my skin, my hands, everything about me, but you do not see my cells, you do not see my atoms, you do not see the things that make up the things, they are just physical. So there is no really true way to prove, other than by hitting me, obviously, that I am right here, if it is only us two talking. So therefore, this would apply to any gendering things, including intersex, which can have an XX or XY chromosome and have androgen or estrogen insensitivity.
So I just need you to narrow this down. Is the
Yeah,
argument
what
that
I'm
things
trying-
that we don't understand the nature of things because we don't have microscopes, and therefore we can't determine sex?
I would like to narrow it down to we cannot fully identify a gender of a person right when we see them, so therefore I believe that it is not within my own individual liberty to gender that person.
Okay, so
Guys, look, hey, everybody has a right to think how they want to think, okay? And I don't want to demonize this person for having those thoughts. Absolutely not. That's not what we're here to do. But there's a line. It gets to a point where it's like, okay, bro, this is you can go off the deep end, but this is a little bit much, right? Let's see what Ben has to say.
So here's my problem with that particular argument. The answer is that in 99.8%, 99.9% of cases, you absolutely can gender somebody based on looking at them. Like, really. If you're going to use intersex people as an example of not being able to do that, this does not obviate the biological duality of sex upon which all progeneration is based for all of human history and for all mammalian species. So intersex people do not invalidate the concept of sex as a generality. Intersex people are people who have a biological anomaly.
Yep.
And by the way, in most cases of intersex, those people still manifest as either a male or a female. So the idea that intersex exists does not invalidate the idea that there is a male and that there is a female, or that in nearly all cases, I can tell the difference between a male and a female. Again, I'm not saying, by the way, that if you can show me your chromosomal charts that you are actually not a male, when I say that you're a male, that I should stick with that biological objective standard. Like my perception of you, in other words, is subject to my correct enunciation of an objective standard. So the objective standard, here's the deal. For all of human history, there was an objective standard between male and female. It was, for nearly all of human history, out of partial ignorance and partially because this is usually true, it was out of simply looking at people's genitals and assessing them based on their outward appearance, right? Which is still true for nearly all human beings on planet Earth at all times. Okay. What was that?
You can't really describe someone without secondary sex characteristics and gender them into something.
Well, I mean, you can based on primary sex characteristics if you can see their genitals. Doctors do this literally at birth all the time, right? So this is but your point is correct. If somebody was male dressed as a female and I misgendered them and then they said, "Oh, look, I'm male," zip, right? Then I would say correct, and then
Exactly. Bingo. That's where it ends. Now, the only point that I will give the gentleman speaking is, these days with the surgeries and all this stuff, it is becoming a bit harder to tell. You could still tell. Let's not act naive now. Okay. We're not going to act naive, but I'm just saying, you have some people that you're like, I was out one day and my cousin showed me this person that was displaying themselves as a female, but when I looked at them, I thought it was a male. And just no knock on the person that we saw. This is not to be offensive or anything like that, but it's just like as Ben Shapiro said, there's certain, not just the genitalia features, your nose, your your lips, your if you have, you know, your arms, are they more masculine, they're more muscular, right? Just things of that nature. Like, it's not just genitalia, because nobody, realistically, nobody's saying drop your pants. I need to check if you're a male or a female. Come on, back to the video.
Then correct, I would.
But I just want to say I do agree with Ben Shapiro, though. I'm not siding with Mr. Wookie here. I'm siding with Ben Shapiro. But I just want to say that's kind of why. But let's let him cook.
Say, for all of human history, you were male. Now the standard is chromosomal, right? It's the SRNY gene and all of this. There is some objective standard, in other words, by which we can determine sex. The problem I have with the transgender argument is that people are arguing that there is no objective standard, that no objective standard exists by which I can determine sex. And in fact, sex is completely subjective. I can determine my own gender based on no biology, and in fact, in abeyance of biology. I can have every single biological characteristic of a male, and if I say I am female, then I am female. This is anti-scientific nonsense. Yes, Caitlyn Jenner had every biological characteristic of a male. There is no evidence whatsoever that Caitlyn Jenner was a female, because Caitlyn Jenner was an Olympic athlete as a male with all of the chromosomes and all of the junk and all of it, right? That is it. That is a biological male. And then we are supposed to believe that Caitlyn Jenner is a female. Listen, I'm happy to call Caitlyn Jenner Caitlyn, because people can legally change their name. If I were out to dinner with Caitlyn Jenner, I wouldn't go out of my way to say Caitlyn Jenner is a he, because why would I want to have a bad dinner with somebody? But if I'm speaking in public with folks and I'm talking about the presence of sex, there is not a biologist worth their salt on planet Earth who would say that sex does not exist.
Yeah, I agree.
So if sex exists, then what are the characteristics of sex? And the problem with biological anti-realism or scientific anti-realism, as you're suggesting, is that there is no actual standard of sex, that it's completely malleable. It's okay. We can, sorry, do you have a quick response? I don't want to cut you off.
I'm not saying that sex is malleable. I'm saying there is male and female biologically. That is true, yes.
Right.
But I'm saying that gender is a spectrum. I'm saying that there is at least male, female, and non-binary because
right.
of this strange.
And what I'm saying is that there's a word game that goes on when people discuss gender. Because if we are talking about certain characteristics to which we attribute to masculine or feminine, if you want to say that there's a genetic male with feminine characteristics, we're fine. That's a male.
Bingo. There's no such thing as you have a male or a female. There's not a non-binary. You either have the genitalia of a male or a female. That is literally it, right? That's just a fact. And what I think, what I know, I was going to say think, but what I know Ben Shapiro is saying is, you know, you're one or the other. And if we're out at dinner, I'll be polite. I'll call you by your name. If your name's Caitlin, I'm not going to call you by your surname. I'm going to call you by the name you want me to call you, because out of respect to you. But you are a male. Back to the video.
Feminine characteristics. Fine, that's fine. I mean, okay, so you're a man with feminine characteristics. That's cool. Who cares? Okay, but that doesn't make you a woman. In other words, if you're going, what we are now doing is we're playing a semantic game where we say a male with feminine characteristics is a woman. That's nonsense. Or a woman with male characteristics, masculine characteristics, is a man. That's nonsense too. And by the way, it actually ends up misgendering a lot of people who are just butch women or effeminate men. Right, so all of this, so in other words, by trying to separate out gender and sex completely, and then by using terms like male and female, or woman and man, that are innately connected to sex, what you are doing is deliberately, not you, what people are doing is deliberately confusing the issue such that you get idiocies like Ilhan Omar writing to the Powerlifting Association of the USA saying that a transgender woman who is a biological male should be able to compete against biological women because it is a myth that men can pick up heavier objects than women.
Bingo. And you see, that's where the problem lies. Okay, the problem lies is when you adopt it fully and you're not just doing it out of respect. See, what Ben Shapiro was saying is, again, if we're at a dinner, if we're at wherever let's say we're at the store or wherever it is, and I call your name, I'm going to call you by the name you want me to call you out of respect. But if you want to race me in, let's say we're running track or we're playing football or we're doing something physical, in terms of a manly sport, or a woman, or let's even on the woman's side, right? Vice versa. It goes both ways. It's not just on the man's side. It's on both ways. I just want to be totally blunt here, right? So men should not be competing in women's sports, and then women should not be competing in men's sports, because their literal biology is made up different. It's not the same, right? That's all it is. It's not this. And that's the problem. The problem that we're having now is we have gotten to a point where now we have gone beyond calling you your pronouns and what you want us to call you. we're now letting you, which is not a problem, but now now we're letting you play in sports that, if I have a man that is built full of testosterone and I have him do Olympic lifts against the women, of course the man's gonna win, right? He doesn't belong there. Same reason why they have weight classes. There's weight classes for a reason. Okay. Anyway, guys, not to give you a sermon, but I just really hope that I knocked this home. And but yeah, back to the video. Let's finish up here. See what Ben has to say.
That is not a myth. That's called science. Thank you.
It's called science. That's it. That's it. That's a perfect way to end this video. Guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. You know, I get active in those comments. All right. And do you agree with, the gentleman here, or do you agree with Ben Shapiro? And I tried to be as fair as possible, but yeah, I'm sorry. I got to side with Ben. Actually, I'm not sorry. It's just what it is, right? But yeah, let me know in the comment section below. Till next time, peace.